Friends, in this video, I'm going to talk about going back to work after not being in the office for perhaps quite a long time and why this might feel hard. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to make it a little bit easier for you. So I'll be speaking from the perspective of Ayurveda, which is the traditional medicine from India. And we use a lot of beautiful, simple frameworks for us to understand our sense of well-being and balance. And one of them is the 5 elements. So that's earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And that the qualities of these 5 elements, they are found in everything, including us, our bodies, our minds, and our emotions. So when something like a pandemic happens, or really any trauma, we get an increase of air in our brains, in our experience. And you can think about it's kind of like wind in your hair, or more like a hurricane. And this is it's really destabilizing, right? Some of the symptoms of having too much air, and also ether, empty space. Like think about way out in outer space where it's completely disconnected from anything. The experience of that in a human body is increased anxiety, perhaps depression, overwhelm, lots of worry and stress. And if you think about a tree, for example, and that the very tall branches and leaves that are like at the top of a very tall tree, when the wind blows, they're just going all over the place, right? And that's kind of what happens. So when we are in the state of trauma, of high stress, we have a hard time negotiating that, and it takes a lot of energy. So even though you may have been on away from work, it's not the same as a vacation, right? You've actually been using a tremendous amount of energy to adapt, to calm yourself, to just stay moving. And so when you go back to work, it's not like after vacation, you're not recharged. You're actually probably depleted, potentially very depleted. And you've got this air going still. It's going like crazy in you and everybody. Like, we are so what we call vata aggravated in Ayurveda. And especially now it's the summertime. So we've got the heat, the fire, it's just like fueling it. That can really make us feel just very overwhelmed. And when we have our structures, our processes, our external environment is asking things of us that 2 years ago would have been just fine. Right now, today, you might not have the same resources to fulfill those expectations. So it's super important that we be talking about this with each other and with the people who decide how we work. So what do you do about this? Well, if you imagine that tree again with the leaves in the top, like shaking in the hurricane, and you kind of start to move down the branches, you get to the trunk, things like there's a little bit more stability, you get all the way down to the base of that tree, and it is so much more stable. It is grounded. And that quality is what we seek to bring into life. This will balance all of that wind and craziness. So how do you do that? Well, think about doing less activity, less motion, inputting less into your body via the 5 senses. So that's less stimulation wherever you can get it, making space for deep rest. This will help to replenish your vital energy. And any other activity that helps you to replenish yourself. Meditation is a fantastic one because not only does that help to reduce the stimulation, but it gives you a sense of stillness and rest. Even though the mind might be kind of going crazy, it's a practice. So If you are feeling overwhelmed with going back to work, know that that is completely normal. It makes total sense. And give yourself some grace and some self-care. Really approach this with a conscious way and to create grounding for yourself so that you'll rebuild your resilience and you'll experience this transition in a less stressful way. Okay, I hope that's been helpful. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, friends.